All right. You are tuned into another episode of live Clow card readings. And yeah, it has been a hot day full of ups and downs, that's for sure. But let me get a sip of water before we begin. So, yeah, we will do the usual proceeding of reading the fortunes being told. Then we will get into our Neville Goddard and discussion. So, if anybody would like their reading or their fortune told, all you have to do is comment gender, zodiac sign, and what you would like a reading regarding, whether it's general future, romance, or career. So, yeah, let's see what the great Clow cards have for me today. All right. Another method of shuffling I like to do sometimes. It really rearranges the order of the cards. Oh, great Clow cards of Clow read using the power of the sun, the moon, and the stars. Reveal to me what you have in store for me as a message of guidance regarding my general future. And based on the annoying disturbance that occurred trying to make music earlier, I could really use some good guidance. And you know what? It's sad because most of today was pretty good, but getting interrupted during my music, that is like my biggest pet peeve. That really threw me a curveball. It's one thing that I do not handle very well. I guess it's something I have to work on. Anyways, reveal to me what message you have for me for my general future. Deris. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so the general future indicates the shadow card first, the change, the dark, sakura, the snow, and what I'm picking up from this is that, especially because the dark card and the shadow here is, that there is, I guess, especially with the snow too being involved, there is stormy weather approaching. Not necessarily snow itself, but a new change of seasons. This is going to be, I suppose, one of the down spirals of the law of rhythm. However, it is marking changes, and by being the hero of my own story, I shall prevail. What other messages do you have for me, Clow cards? Let's see. Reveal to me the next step in my destiny, O great Clow cards of Kurorigo, using the power of the sun, the moon, and the stars. Release. Okay. It's funny how I was mentioning storms because the storm card popped up, as well as the sand, flower, storm, as I mentioned, the twin, and the fiery. So, yeah, there's a lot of passion going along, a lot of heated inspiration, hence the fiery card. The twin indicates the clashing of sort of two worlds. The storm indicates things going through sort of a rough patch, but the fact that and the sand indicates like difficult movement in the current process, but the flower card indicates that something really good is about to blossom into harvest. So that's actually a very good sign. Okay, that's the general future. Now we will get into romance. Oh, great Clow cards of Kurorido. Reveal to me the answers I seek regarding my romantic love interest, who everybody who's been watching the show knows is Hitomi-chan, and reveal to me what is either the next step to take or what I should know regarding it. Release. Okay, well, these are all pretty promising cards. They're very interesting to see this sort of combined together. We have the lock, the jump, the bubbles, the dream, and the song. So new opportunities are popping up. I'm going to have to take sort of a massive leap of faith myself. Keep focused and lock down the idea in my mind. Fixate it. That's what the lock is indicating. The dream indicates that a revelation will come soon from a dream or a vision. And the song card indicates that it will have something to do with music. Music will be a key sort of aspect in all this. So that's what my romance is saying. And if I really had to put them all together, it's basically saying keep doing what I'm doing. Fixate on the accomplished end result and don't worry about things along the way. The answers will come to me in their own divine timing. Now, with career, which I could really use some advice, especially with that frustrating interruption, which delayed me making an instrumental earlier. And I'll put it this way. Before I did this show, I was mad. I had to delay the show for that reason because I was supposed to get it done. And well, my phone's dead now, so I couldn't even work on it. But it's like all the delays that interrupted me when I was trying to make this instrumental, they were driving me crazy. I just wanted to get it done. And it was one interruption and issue and disturbance after another. Totally threw me off my groove. Reminds me of that Disney movie, The Emperor's New Groove. Dude, you threw off my groove. Like, don't do that. That's like my biggest pet peeve, right? So that's what happened. Anyways, reveal to me, oh great Clow cards of Kuro Rido, what message you have using the power of the sun, the moon, and the stars for my career. Release. Fly. The erase. The loop, and the watery. Very good. Okay, so this is suggesting there's going to be, and one more, which is the windy. All right, the fact that we have two elemental cards here is very interesting. The loop says it's kind of in a standstill, like it's going in circles as far as my career. The erase indicates that I probably should let go of all negative beliefs regarding my career based on the past. That will only necessitate the loop to keep repeating. The watery is suggesting like wash it clean. Let my troubles sort of blow away. And then the fly is indicating that by taking action and maybe traveling somewhere else, flying somewhere new, things will start to actually work out more in my favor, which does make a lot of sense. So that is my reading. If anybody else would like a reading for their fortune told, all you have to do is comment. And we will actually get into the discussion before we read the third chapter of Neville Goddard's Feeling is the Secret. Now, many people who have watched my other video know that I've got a massive Japanese CD collection. Now, this one is a new one that I got recently from the Japanese pop singer Taeko Onuki, who's in a band with Tatsuro Yamashita. I have his album. And she also sang backup vocals on the great song Plastic Love, which is Maria Takeuchi's song, produced by Tatsuro, who also married her, and they were bandmates. Tatsuro actually does backup work on this album, and it was produced by Ryuichi Sakamoto. Now, the album is over 30 years old now, over 40 years, in fact. But it's such a masterpiece musically that it's just incredible. It's really like one of the great Japanese albums of all time, and definitely by far one of the most musically incredible of its era. So definitely recommend it. It's Taeko Onuki's Sun Shower. So definitely check it out if you've never heard it. It's a great album. They have it available on YouTube. I definitely recommend it to anybody who loves the music over there because it's wonderful. Now we will get right into reading Feeling is the Secret. And we will continue where we left off, which is chapter 3. Okay, chapter 3, Prayer. Prayer, like sleep, is also an entrance into the subconscious. When you pray, enter into your closet, and when you have shut your door, pray to your Father, which is in secret, and your Father, which is in secret, shall reward you openly. Prayer is an illusion of sleep, which diminishes the impression of the outer world and renders the mind more receptive to suggestion from within. The mind in prayer is in a state of relaxation and receptively akin to the feeling attained just before dropping off to sleep. Prayer is not so much what you ask for as how you prepare for its reception. Whatsoever things ye desire, when ye pray, believe that you have received them, and ye shall have them. The only condition required is that you believe that your prayers are already realized. Your prayer must be answered if you assume the feeling that would be yours were you already in possession of your objective. The moment you accept the wish as an accomplished fact, the subconscious finds means for its realization. To pray successfully, then, you must yield to the wish, that is, feel the wish fulfilled. The perfectly disciplined man is always in tune with the wish as an accomplished fact. He knows that consciousness is the one and only reality, that ideas and feelings are facts of consciousness and are as real as objects in space. Therefore, he never entertains a feeling which does not contribute to his happiness, for feelings are the causes of the actions and circumstances of his life. On the other hand, the undisciplined man finds it difficult to believe that which is denied by the senses and usually accepts or rejects solely on the appearance of the senses. Because of this tendency to rely on the evidence of the senses, it is necessary to shut them out before starting to pray, before attempting to feel that which they deny. Whenever you are in the state of mind, I should like to, but I cannot, the harder you try, the less you are able to yield to the wish. You never attract that which you want, but always attract that which you are conscious of being. Prayer is the art of assuming the feeling of being and having that which you want. When the senses confirm the absence of your wish, all conscious effort to counteract this suggestion is futile and tends to intensify the suggestion. Prayer is the art of yielding to the wish and not forcing of the wish. Whenever your feeling is in conflict with your wish, feeling will be the victor. The dominant feeling invariably expresses itself. Prayer must be without effort. In attempting to fix an attitude of mind which is denied by the senses, effort is fatal. To yield successfully to the wish as an accomplished fact, you must create a passive state, a kind of reverie or meditative reflection similar to the feeling which precedes sleep. In such a relaxed state, the mind is turned from the objective world and easily senses the reality of a subjective state. It is a state in which you are conscious and quite able to move or open your eyes, but have no desire to do so. An easy way to create this passive state is to relax in a comfortable chair or on a bed. If on a bed, lie flat on your back with your head on a level with your body, close the eyes, and imagine that you are sleepy. Feel, I am sleepy. I am so sleepy. So very sleepy. In a little while, a faraway feeling accompanied by a general lassitude and loss of all desire to move envelops you. You feel a pleasant, comfortable rest and not inclined to alter your position, although under other circumstances you would not be at all comfortable. When this passive state is reached, imagine that you have realized your wish, not how it was realized, but simply the wish fulfilled. Imagine in picture form what you desire to achieve in life, then feel yourself as having already achieved it. Thoughts produce tiny little speech movements which may be heard in the passive state of prayer as pronouncements from without. However, this degree of passivity is not essential to the realization of your prayers. All that is necessary is to create a passive state and feel the wish fulfilled. All you can possibly need or desire is already yours. You need no helper to give it to you. It is yours now. Call your desires into being by imagining and feeling your wish fulfilled. As the end is accepted, you become totally indifferent as to possible failure, for acceptance of the end wills the means to that end. When you emerge from the moment of prayer, it is as though you were shown the happy and successful end of a play, although you were not shown how that end was achieved. However, having witnessed the end, regardless of any anticlimactic sequence, you remain calm and secure in the knowledge that the end has been perfectly defined. And that concludes that. So yeah, we finished a lot earlier because that was a short chapter for the day. But if anybody else would like their fortune told, feel free to comment. I guess in the meanwhile, I will discuss other events regarding my career because by the time September comes, I would have released 9 solo albums. I've decided to start working on a 10th solo album, which I will title A Point to Prove. And this is an album where I'm going to get a bit of production from one of my old producers who worked on such albums as Impulse, Nail Gun, Mahjong Titan, and Final Requiem, Tone Jones. Now, most of the tracks actually will be produced by him. So it's going to have a very awesome, fresh, funky sound, like going back to the original roots of the Super Kami Guru Alucard style of music. He also did produce a few tracks for the SOS Brigade's first album, too. Looking Out the Window, Warped Perception, North Coast Blues, I think a few others, but at the moment, those are the ones that come to mind. Either way, it's going to be a really great album, and I'm really excited to start working on it. I did actually make one beat for this album already, because it will be a 12-track album. He's going to do 10, and I'm going to do 2. Now, one of the other tracks I was actually attempting to create the instrumental for was the one I mentioned I was getting frustrated creating. And that was part of why, because I was like, oh, if I just get this done, then I'd have all the instrumentation laid out for this album to come. And then all I'd have to do is start writing, recording, and then also deciding if I'm going to feature any guests. Now, ideally, I would love to feature new artists that I've always desired and loved to work with. Although I am also tempted to maybe bring back some of the artists I had worked with on previous albums. I mean, I always make good music with Olga Chung. I'm sure a lot of people know that I have many songs with them. They appeared on Zhenai from my first album, which is Chinese for True Love. Still Daydreaming, Life is Wonderful, SOS, which also featured Reiko of Lolita Dark. I will get to her in a sec. And then also she was on Where Are We At from the SOS Brigade Quartet's debut album, A History Lesson. Now, Reiko, I also was considering maybe bringing her back on a track just because we've always made some really good music together. I mean, she did Destiny on Impulse. She did My Angel, which she had a rocking guitar solo for on Nail Gun. And then she also did the keyboard solo at the end of Nail Gun, too, in case people didn't know that. And then her band actually did the steel drum solo at the end of Mahjong Titan. She sang on All I Want, which was a great song. We also had Gats, the Korean rapper singer, do the ending verse on that. And of course, one of my own proteges, Retrospect, he did a great job. She also was featured on the intro of Mahjong Titan 2. I'm just sitting here trying to remember. I'm like, Rico has actually done probably more work with me than any other artist, which is really cool. And I definitely recommend for anybody, check out her band, Lolita Dark. Kicks ass. It's really cool. So, yeah, she also did rapping on the song with Olga, Olga sang on, called SOS, which was sort of like a theme of that. And then most recently, she appeared on Jazz It Up, from the SOS Brigade Quartet's debut album as well, where she actually did a stride piano solo and sang and rapped on it. And it was just really, it was great. It was just wonderful because I was like, oh, you know what? She just added the magical ingredients to that. So yeah, definitely those are like things in the working to come. Those are the possible future plans. I'm really excited about this album if I was to sit there and think about it too, because I really feel like with Tone Jones bringing some heat with the production, this album is going to have a very classic Super Kami Guru Alucard kind of style to it. It's going to have those funky, upbeat, groovy, retro kind of sounding vibes. And I think it's going to just be wonderful. I mean, I'm very excited for the next two albums, which Parallel Reality 2 drops next month, August. August 25th, which was actually the day that Takako Mamiya finished recording Love Trip. This album I always talk about, which is a masterpiece. And then September 4th, Tomi-chan's wonderful birthday, I'm actually dropping an album dedicated fully towards her, as I mentioned, called A Big Bounce to a Higher Reality. And every song is dedicated to her. It's a short album, but it's very beautiful. And I really put my heart into that record. And I think even with this new one, I'm going to try and continue a lot of similar ideas I used on that. So I definitely say, since that's the 9th record, the 10th record will really be a continuation of a lot of the concepts discussed on the 9th record. Now, a possible release date of this 10th, because we pretty much got albums dropping every month this year. I'm even thinking, if I was to maybe do this album, I might even save the other 2 tracks that I would produce as my own, and I will basically try to squeeze maybe a 10th album and an 11th album solo in the months of December and October, because the SOS Brigade Quartet's final album drops in November. Just so that way I've dropped an album every month this year. And that's something I've never done. That's quite a challenge. And it's really a lot of work as an artist. But at the same time, I kind of feel like I got to push. I got to really put as much music as I can out there. Not only bring my best to the table, which is why I really sought Tone Jones' help with this next album that's in the works that I'm planning. But even with all the ones that have been released and will be released that are already finished, like really telling y'all, check out, support the music, because if you could even share with people and spread the word, it helps me. And I really feel like if people just realized how good my music was, they'd all love it. It's really a matter of who you know in this industry. Now, I don't have a manager that's very reliable at the moment, or a marketing team, or standard promoters, but I can tell you this. What I could vouch for with my music, that I do think if anybody watches this, it will motivate them and inspire them to check it out, is I am more lyrical than rappers have been since the 90s. Now, I even talked with one of my counselors today about this. I said, I wouldn't want to sell out or dumb down the style of my music. I know it's very complex. I know I'm throwing a lot of rapid fire lyrical delivery, and it's a lot kind of balled up in every single bar. Like there's so many rhymes per bar. But it's kind of like I feel like I have to give it my best, because then I feel more confident and happy with the outcome, whether I'm successful or not. At least I'm being true to myself. Now, I could swallow my pride and dumb it down, but no artist really takes pride in being a sellout and doing what's common. And yet, I get frustrated at times because I look at other artists who aren't even half as lyrical. They hardly rhyme. They sound so drunk when they're rapping sometimes. It's like, what? Did they guzzle down a whole bottle of cough syrup before they got into the studio? Like, they sound out of it, right? And yet they're making millions. And I cannot for the life of me figure it out because I'm like, they're not even that good. I'm 1,000 times better than them. Plus, I'm multilingual. Polylingual is the better term for it because I could rap throwing multiple different languages into the mix and still have different phrases, but have it all kind of tie into the theme of the song. And that's something no other artist nowadays, like myself, really does. Plus, my vocabulary is quite incredible. I mean, compared to the average rapper nowadays, I'll put it this way. I wouldn't say I'm the best rapper that there's ever been, but I'm quite confident that any of the rappers who were actually lyrically better than me aren't anymore or they're dead. Rest in peace, not to knock them, but I'll put it this way. A lot of the ones who I actually believed at one point lyrically were equal of caliber to me, they sold out. They dumbed down their flow. They don't even sell as much as they used to when they were really bringing their A game to the table either. So I don't know why they did it. I think it's just the idea that they feel like they need to compete with the market. And I mean, a lot of successful rappers have done it and still made success by doing it. But that's just not me. It's not in my nature to sacrifice the quality or the quantity of the music. And that's why I really don't like that law of compensation. I sit there and I look at it. Well, I put out more good music in 3 years than most rappers put out in an entire career. Where's my compensation? You know what I'm saying? So I don't really understand that part of it. But I'm trying to focus on just bettering myself, making the best music I can, keep doing my thing, and just trusting that at the right time, the right opportunities have already fallen in place, and that we are all living in sections of time, that all my desires, as Neville Goddard would say, are already fulfilled. So that's the best case scenario I can hope for. Now, as I mentioned, if anybody would like a fortune told, please don't be shy. Go ahead, comment. Just need to comment your gender, your zodiac sign, and if you'd like a general future reading, romance, or career, and I will get to it. If we don't get readings soon, though, I will conclude this broadcast in about 2 minutes. Even though it's a short one tonight, might as well make it short but sweet. And plus, I've talked about everything I plan to discuss. I read Neville Goddard's chapter, and I also did a lot of my own readings. So, and then it gives me more time to get back on finishing up that instrumental that I had started prior to this. Hopefully, it will all be good. By the way, if anybody's curious, it was a challenging instrumental to make just because it's kind of got a punk rock vibe, so it's really fast, and I've tried to like time up the changes and the switch ups within the song so that it would have like its chorus, its verse, chorus, verse, chorus, and then maybe like I'll throw in a sax solo at the end, like a really fast, wild sax solo to sound crazy, and then just ride out the final chorus, right? That's the plans for that one. And I've gotten ideas for songs, but I'm not going to lie to you people. If I'm going to write about anything on this album, I'm probably going to write about like the fulfillment of my desires and what I love most. You know, Hitomi-chan, Chihara-chan, being successful with an artist, working with all the artists I've always dreamed of working, moving to Japan, things like that, right? That's basically what the concept of this album will be, a point to prove. And hopefully people will start to really take it seriously and understand that I'm not screwing around anymore. This means war. I got to show them who's boss. And Super Kami Guru Alucard is the boss. So, yeah. Hope everybody liked this episode. Since there's nobody coming on for a fortune told, we will leave it there. And I wish you all a good night. Arigato gozaimasu, minasan. O yasumi nasai. Matane.